Welcome back, A players, to episode 9 of the A Player Adventure podcast. I'm your host and guide, Suzette West, and today I am thrilled to have Rae Mason, a holistic health and movement coach specializing in gut health. So join us to explore the intricacies of our body's most underrated hero, the gut. Together, we're going to navigate through essential insights and strategies for achieving optimal health, focusing on the following key points: the gut brain connection, mindset blocks, and strategies for healing. So stay tuned. Join me and Rae as we unravel the secrets to a healthier life through the lens of gut health. So, welcome. You are guest number one. Welcome to the.
Woohoo!
Yeah, welcome.
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me because I'm super excited as well to be here and to share my story and to share ways on how to optimize your health through gut health. So, for me, like many other people, my story started with my own challenges. So, back when I was 17, I was in a really toxic relationship. It was an abusive relationship. I was in this relationship for 9 years. And within that 9 years, it was physically, mentally, spiritually, financially abusive. And throughout that relationship, I gained a host of health issues. So I had a lot of digestion problems, depression, anxiety, eczema, severe allergies, all these things that for some people you wouldn't see the connection, but I believe and I know everything is interconnected. So once I was able to get myself out of that relationship, I literally had to build myself from the ground up. And once I started doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, so many people need to know that there's another side. You don't have to feel as though this is it for you. This is the end when it comes to your health, when it comes to your life in general. So once I started to rebuild my whole entire life, I just knew I had to share it. So that's how the Healthy Move got created, which is the name of my business. And once that was created and I became an entrepreneur, I started to see, okay, I came up against other challenges, such as wanting to serve everyone else and to help everyone else, and then seeing how I wasn't serving myself how I needed to be. Like I wasn't doing what I knew I needed to do for myself because I was too focused on filling everyone else's cup up when mine was running low. So that's just a quick snippet of my story. And yeah.
I have to tell you, I talk to a lot of people on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and like I was mentioning to you earlier, this is a number one concern that I'm hearing across the board is uh, just people are trying to be there for others and not refilling their own cup, and they're feeling really guilty about not being the kind of parent or spouse or friend, or they want to give they want to give their loved ones what they feel they deserve, and yet they don't have time for themselves. And so it's heartbreaking because I can relate to that. If I'm constantly pouring out and giving to others, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And
Hmm.
but this is a common struggle. Do you want to speak to our audience that is, because this is a common challenge.
So the first thing is we have to explore our core beliefs around ourselves. We have to get to the bottom of why we feel as though pouring into everyone else first makes you a better friend, makes you a better mother. Because when you actually sit down, because a lot of us know, like, if I was to give to myself first, I can actually be a better friend, be a better mother, a better father, a better employee. So there are some beliefs there that we have to get to the bottom of when it comes to how we show up for other people and ourselves. Sometimes we have beliefs such as, if I don't do X, Y, and Z when this person asks me to. And this could just be an assumption that we make in our own minds. If I don't do X, Y, and Z when this person asks me to, then they're going to leave me. A lot of times it comes down to trauma. It can get deep. You're doing all these things because you may have some abandonment issues. You may have different types of trauma that are attached to you feeling though you have to be extremely people pleasing, even to your children, but it can be attached to some type of trauma. So the first thing is we have to get down to your core beliefs when it surrounds your self-worth. How do you view yourself? Because the reality is you are a better mother, father, sister, employee when you pour into yourself first. It's the same thing when you're on the plane and they're giving you instructions. If something was to happen, I need you to put on your oxygen mask first. Why? Because when you save yourself, you can help save someone that is probably not as you can help save your child, someone that is not as what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe not as helpful or can do what you can do in a certain capacity. So, but the thing is, you have to put your oxygen mask on first. Otherwise, like, what's going to happen? I have many friends, even myself, I've gone through this, and I always have to put in the forefront of my mind, once I pour into myself, everyone's going to get the best of me. And I don't give someone from my cup, I give them the overflow. I fill my cup up and there's an overflow flow. People get the overflow. They don't get what's in my cup. And I think it's a mindset shift. It's a perspective shift that we have to really start making. But again, we have to uncover the core belief of why we feel like we have to exhaust ourselves in order to feel like we're a good person, friend, brother, mother, sister, whatever it is. And then once you uncover those core beliefs, now we have to restart reprogramming ourselves. And it takes time because we're so automatically used to doing things a certain way. So you have to be very mindful now when you start to incorporate a new habit of taking care of yourself first, which sounds crazy because that's a good thing. Like, it sounds crazy that we actually have to be intentional about taking care of yourself first. So it's I have a friend right now, and I told him, I said, okay, you have so many people. And another thing too is, like, when you have so many people dependent upon you in a way where if something was to, God forbid, happen to you and they don't know how to function, you're enabling them. You're not actually helping them. You enable people when you have them depend on you to the point of, if something was to happen to you, everything goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to put your people in a position, you want to have systems in life and put things and put people in position where if God forbid something was to happen to you, the whole thing doesn't come crashing down because
Right.
everything was on your back.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, that's so important.
you have to start seeing things differently, positioning your children better, positioning your friends better, everyone better.
Hmm. And what you said about beliefs, the common feedback that I'm getting is the sense of guilt. A
Mhm.
very, very heavy guilt that just perpetuates, makes the burnout even worse. It it
Mhm.
it accelerates the depletion of the nervous system when you're
Absolutely.
already depleted, and now you're adding guilt on top of that. And the energy of guilt, the emotion of guilt, that's a draining emotion. So when your cup is already empty and now you're adding guilt on that, you're just accelerating the burnout process, which, like you said, it's our mindset, it's how we're thinking about it. How we think affects our experience in life, how we're seeing things. Because
It does.
we can only do the best we can at any given moment. We're not superhuman, we're human, you know?
Right.
We're not
I would
human
say
doings, we're human beings.
right. And the thing is though, like I'm such a coach who empowers my clients to always be curious. Just asking questions will change everything. Why do you feel guilty? Like, where is that guilt coming from? Why do you feel guilty? We have to get to that. Another thing is a lot of times we try to change the behavior without changing a belief. If you try to change the behavior without changing a belief, it's going to cause a lot of friction. It's going to be very uneasy because our beliefs dictate our behavior. So first we have to change the belief system, and that will naturally begin to change our behavior, how we show up for ourselves and other people.
Yeah, that's so important. And so let's tie this to gut health now. How does this affect the gut?
Right. Well, your brain and your gut are automatically connected. So if you are giving from an empty cup, obviously it's causing a lot of stress. So many stress hormones are now being released in the body from the brain because whether it's perceived or real stress, it's stress to your body. It's real either way. Now, all those hormones are in the bloodstream, and you're in this constant state of fight or flight. There is a direct connection via the nervous system, your vagus nerve, and there's a system called your enteric nervous system, where your brain is directly connected to the gut. You have signals being sent from your gut and signals being sent from your brain. It's a big circle. So whatever's gone up here in your brain, it's affecting your gut. Oftentimes, that's why you see people with if you get nervous, you feel it like in your stomach area, right? All you get if you sometimes people has eaten something and they get a headache. Like there is a link between your gut and your brain. So if you're putting out all this energy and not getting anything back, you're in this high fight or flight state, and now you're probably having like a lot of inflammation in your digestive tract. You're having autoimmune. You're constipated because you're so stressed, like you're tight in the ball. Everything about you is just tight. So you're constipated. You got headaches, you got arthritis, so many different ailments. Just off the simple fact of being stressed, it creates a ripple effect of so many other things. You're stressed, now you can't sleep, so now you're having insomnia, right? When your body is in this constant state of fight or flight, the two systems to go to kind of shut down are your digestion and your reproductive systems. Those are the two systems because however God created the body, it is those two systems that are not necessarily important when you're in survival mode. So the fight or flight system is a necessary system, but the thing is we have it on for a prolonged period of time. So we need that system in emergencies where okay, we have to do what we need to do to survive. But now in the world we live in, we're in this constant imbalance, in this constant stress mode. So now it's like you're constantly you're in survival mode. So your digestion isn't working properly. A lot of women have reproductive issues, even men reproductive issues, just off of the simple fact of not pouring into yourself first and pouring into everybody else first.
Which ties right back to what it takes to get that healthy balance back,
Yeah,
right?
but and it makes me think of because I have a friend I'm talking to right now, and he has everything on his back. He's taking a responsibility on like the world kind of, and he's having a host of health issues. I'm like, listen, if you if something happens to you, how can you help? If you really want to help, the best thing you need to do is you need to show up for yourself and you need to be the example. But if something happens to you, you can't do anything. So
Yeah, yes,
how are you really helping? So
right.
you we have to shift our mindset to a mindset of okay, like if I want to be a better mom, sister, whatever the case may be, I need to show up for myself. And honestly, by doing that, and if you have children, you're going to be that example so your children can see, you know what, I am worth it. I am worth showing up for myself. Right. because this can get to, I mean, a lot of people, it goes back to a self-worth issue and feeling like they're
Hmm.
not worthy of good
Right.
health. They're not worthy of these things. And sometimes on the surface, you be like, I think I'm worthy. But when you start to dig deep, you start to ask yourself questions, you it goes back to some type of trauma and you feeling like you're not worthy enough. So you do everything else except for look at yourself and pour into
Right.
yourself.
Right. And so basically, the mindset ties into how to balance the scales between self-care and caring for others.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a healthy balance, and it begins with
Absolutely.
self-care first before we're able to then, and like you said, you're not pouring from your cup, you're pouring from the overflow from your cup. And that's a big distinction. I think that's really important. And it's, a lot of us are, grew up with the idea that we have to be, in order to not be considered selfish, we have to give. And this is especially true for women. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've got this value system that's very old, that women that are mothers, like we have to totally put everyone before us, and this is, we're selfless, we ever giving, and it just doesn't take into account that there's a human side to this, that we're not, like, again, we're not superhuman. We're not superhuman. We're human beings,
Mm-hmm.
not human doings. We're
Mm-hmm.
human beings, and we have to take care of ourselves. Or whether we are a mother, whether we are a sister, a cousin, an auntie, and I'm speaking to the women now, because I know there's a lot of women A players out there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we are not superhuman. So we have to take care of ourselves so that we can then take care of others. But it's not just the ladies. I've also heard from a lot of men who are also experiencing the same thing. They want to be they want to be the best providers, they want to be the best fathers, husband, brothers, friend, and they're going through the same thing because they're giving from an empty cup and beating themselves up because they can't. And
Yeah.
what we're trying to say is you're asking the impossible, because you are human, we are human, and we have to, self-care is a big part of being able to then invest in others. So there is a
Exactly.
balance. There is a
Exactly.
balance. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like in order for if you really want to be the best for anyone, it has to start with you.
Hmm.
It does. Like it's just making that mindset shift that it has to start with you. One thing that you said something and it just made me think about the word perfectionism came to my mind.
Hmm.
How especially a lot of women want to be the perfect this, the perfect that, right? Again,
Hmm.
let's explore where that belief is coming from because there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a great friend, a great mom, a great whoever. But the intention, where is that coming from? Is it coming from a place of feeling like you're having to prove yourself because of some past trauma? Where is
Hmm.
that coming from? Because I know me, I suffer from trying to do everything perfect and to have everything, and do this and do that and give equal attention and do all the
Hmm.
things and have all the things perfect at the right time. And that's impossible.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
uncovered that that came from when I was younger and I was trying to get my mom's approval and felt like
Mm.
nothing was ever good enough. So because nothing was ever good enough, now as an adult, I'm continuing that cycle of trying to get everything just good enough. And the thing is, that's an
Mm.
illusion. It's an illusion.
And it's isn't it somewhat comforting, a relief to know that it is an illusion, because it means we can let go of that perfection, because it's just, we're not there.
Right.
Perfection is just yeah,
Perfection is an
yeah,
illusion that will paralyze you.
it
So
will. And
it will
destroy your
paralyze you.
health, destroy your health from the inside.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So all of
yeah.
these things is directly connected to your gut health. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, if you are in this survival state, if you are burnt out, if you are always just, you have no energy, you're feeling drained, that's a direct correlation. It has a direct effect on your gut, and your gut has a direct effect on your whole entire health. So now your
Mm-hmm.
mental and your physical health are at risk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
me, when you have these panic attacks, when you have this anxiety, when you have this depression, when you have these digestive issues, how are you really helping?
Mm-hmm. Right.
How can you really help?
You can't. You're going to be sick.
Right.
Yeah. So let's begin with some points. And we created a list of things to cover that is really important. Um, Let me see. Here we go. So we're going to talk about how to heal your gut holistically. And yeah, some of the points are, what would you like to start with? Like, let's start with from the complete beginning, someone who absolutely knows nothing about gut health. Let's talk about the gut health and how the gut helps us restore that healthy balance between self-care and caring for others. Let's go ahead and start talking about it, Rae.
Okay. So you want me to start giving strategies or just kind of start in the.
Well, let's talk about high overview basics.
Okay.
How does the gut help us restore that, what is it about the gut
Okay.
that helps us to restore that balance?
So the biggest thing, what makes a gut healthy is your gut microbiome. Okay. Your gut microbiome is a host of bacteria. So you have good, neutral, bad. You have bacteria, you have viruses, parasites, fungi, yeast. You have all these organisms, bugs living in your body coexisting harmoniously. The issue comes in when there's an imbalance, which now causes all these problems. So your gut microbiome is, it's like a vast garden. Okay. And they have so many different functions. They control neurological functions. They control being able to absorb the nutrients from the food, digest the food. Your gut actually produces 90% of serotonin. And serotonin has many functions, but one thing that it's known for is like your mood. So, again, there's a connection between the gut and the brain. So this is why it's so important to have a healthy gut, and a healthy gut equals a healthy gut flora, a healthy gut microbiome.
Mm. And
You know
how,
the
and I,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of gross, but the average person can hold anywhere from 7 to 25 pounds of fecal matter in their body.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot. And
That's
honestly,
a
I kind
lot.
of want to say, as Americans, I feel as though we're on the higher end because we have so much processed foods here.
Mm.
I've seen other countries ban things because of the ingredients that
Mm-hmm.
affect your gut, like processed foods, artificial flavorings, artificial dyes, all these things that are man-made have a direct effect on your gut,
Mm.
which have a direct effect on your mind, which causes a lot of neurological issues, especially in children, because
Mm.
children are the ones that eat all the candy, all the Fruit Loops, and the flavor this and the color this,
Mm-hmm.
causing a lot of neurological disorders in children because of
Mm.
the food, and that has a
Right.
direct effect on the brain.
Yeah, and it's
Instead
it's
of,
interesting. It's
mm-hmm,
interesting that you mentioned that because I just had a friend who went to Europe. I think she went to the
mm-hmm,
UK to go visit some friends, and there's a lot of stuff over there there's stuff over here that's banned over there. Like I didn't
mm,
even know that. There's a lot of stuff that they don't allow in their food supply that we allow in ours, and I'm like,
exactly,
what is going
exactly.
on?
When I've traveled outside of the country, I can eat the same thing over there and it just tastes different.
Hmm.
It's like fresher. It doesn't affect my body the same. Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's having a healthy gut starts with having a healthy gut microbiome. And honestly, that starts even at the time when the mother gives birth. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
if you go through the vaginal canal, that's when you start to get a lot of your bacteria versus having a
Mm.
C-section. But still, even throughout, your years, you collect bacteria from the foods you eat, where you travel, different things, your exposure
And
to the
how
environment.
and how does gut health affect cellular nutrition and health? Let's talk about that because
Hmm.
that really is important too, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you are eating, and I'm gonna say the simplest form, if you're eating foods that are not close to nature, like whole foods, if you're eating a lot of packaged processed foods, then you're going to start to feed the bad bugs in your body. Okay. So this is going to have a direct effect on the health of your cells. And in your cells produce ATP, which is a type of energy. But if you are not actually fueling your body with the things that your body actually recognizes, which is from nature, then it's like putting really low grade gas in a premium car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to definitely affect your cellular health. Like
Yep.
it's going to affect you on a okay, on a genetic level. Okay, a lot of times we say to ourselves, "Oh, it's genetic. It's in our genes." Now, research even shows that only maybe 5% of you having like cancer or something is because it's genetic. The other 95% is epigenetic, meaning lifestyle, meaning the choices that you make, the things that you consume on and off the plate
Mm.
are dictating whether a gene is turned on or off. This is epigenetics, okay?
Right.
So you can be
Right.
predisposed, but depending on your lifestyle, is going to determine whether a gene is turned on or off, which is going to dictate your health on a cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts with, what are you eating? Okay. Are you even your stress levels? This is why I always say, like, it's not just about what you're consuming on your plate, but it's about what you're consuming off of your plate. All
Right.
these things create a well or not well person. So you do, in fact, have a lot of control by choosing how you want to live.
Mm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Everything is energy. Everything.
Everything is,
Everything is energy, atoms and molecules. We are we are energy.
yeah.
We are energetic beings. And if
It,
we are feeding ourselves crap, well, what happens when you put crappy
yeah.
gas in your
It,
car?
and that's why I'm like, it's really simple. It really is simple when it comes to how to be healthy. It really is simple. We overcomplicate it because, again, the mindset we have to unlearn. But it really is simple, because you can use all these scientific words and stuff like that, but it all comes down to the same thing. Even when you
Hmm.
have all these diseases and stuff, it all comes down to the same thing.
Hmm. And
You're
everything's
putting
interconnected. Everything is
everything
interconnected.
Yeah, if you are giving yourself crap food, if you are around toxic environments, if you are doing things to throw your body off balance, then that's exact whatever input you're putting in, that's the output that you're going to get. If you want to
Hmm.
change something, then change the input. Once you change the
Down
input,
the
it'll change the
thoughts
output.
too. And it comes right back
Yeah,
to the
everything.
mindset too. Everything, the way you think, the way you feel, what you feed your body,
Everything. All that affects
everything
you, all
affects.
that affects you on a cellular
Yeah.
level. Your thoughts affect you on a cellular
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. So once we realize we are energetic beings, that means we have a cellular, we're
Mhm.
comprised of cellular
Mhm.
physiology. And by knowing that, we can be more mindful about what we nourish ourselves with. It is
Mhm.
it is in it down to quality of the water,
Yeah,
quality of the
everything.
thoughts. quality of the company
Everything.
we keep, quality of everything,
Yes,
right?
it all matters.
Mhm.
It all literally matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, let's if we start, the first thing is we have to acknowledge, number one, what is draining us. We got to sit down and first assess what's draining me. And we got to
Hmm.
write those things. I'm a big writer because a lot of times we can think in our brain, but once you write it on paper, it makes it different. You can have a different perspective of it. Even once you start to write it down, it clicks different. Something happens when you put pen to paper.
Hmm.
But we
Hmm.
have to assess, like, okay, what's throwing us off? What's causing some imbalances in my life? My nutrition, what does that look like? My company that I'm keeping, what am I watching, listening to? What am I believing? All these things.
Yeah, these are all so important. Right here at the, I mean, here, what the A Player Adventure podcast is all about, it's about raising the bar on what it means to be an A player. It's not about being the best at what you do. It's about showing up as the best human possible. And that
Mhm.
means whole human. And what we feed ourselves is what helps us do that. And so that's why I was really inspired to bring you on this episode and talk about this stuff because it's so important and people need to
Mhm.
understand, especially with burnout being at epidemic proportions and with so many people struggling with work-life balance. I mean, this is very important information. So this conversation is very timely and I really
Mhm.
appreciate you so much, Rae. How do you work with people to get themselves back into balance?
Okay. So before we do that, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to give people two more things too, because sometimes we feel like, oh, it's too much, I can't do it. So I want to go ahead and knock that belief down. Okay. So once you assess what your stresses are and you write them down, start to work with one at a time. Start to approach one at a time. Don't try to do all of them at a time. Okay. The second thing I tell people to do nutrition wise is to focus on adding in. Don't focus on eliminating, because a lot of times when you tell yourself you can't have something, that just causes you more stress. So focus on adding in more vegetables and fruits and natural juices and smoothies. Do that. Focus on, it's called crowding out, meaning the more you add in the things that are nourishing, the more the bad things are going to be crowded out. Okay, so those are just the two things I would say. Just focus on that first. Acknowledge what's stressing you. Start to work with one thing at a time, and then work on adding in more fresh stuff to your diet.
Wonderful. I love those tips. Yeah. And for those of you out there who are experiencing the guilt uh of just not having that work-life balance, breathe.
Mhm. Mhm.
Breath work is amazing. It's so simple, yet it's so powerful. And
Mhm.
releasing that guilt is so important to not just your own health, but in your ability to show up for others. So we
Yes.
we really encourage you to just drop that burden. Just drop that burden. You don't need it. It's too heavy. It's not serving you. It's not serving the people that you care about. So just breathe, relax, know that you're doing the best you can. Drop that
Mhm.
burden. Drop that burden.
Mhm. So you said how people can work with me.
Yes.
So I run a 90-day mind, body, and spirit detox where we get to the core beliefs and we uproot a lot of these beliefs and start to replace them with new ones. Now, all you have to do is you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me to see if this would be a good fit for you. Okay. Now, all you have to do is go to thehealthymoveco.com, thehealthymoveco.com, and just book a free 30-minute consultation and at least get some value from our call, right? There's no, you don't have to do anything. So I would love though to work with you because I know a lot of us are suffering from burnout and feeling like we gotta be Mrs. Perfect, Mr. Perfect, and you don't. But again, uncovering them beliefs and understanding why can make a ton of a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on for this episode and for bringing so many helpful tips and insights. Um, is there anything, any kind of last minute uh words or thoughts you'd like to leave for the audience?
Okay, a few things came up. Number one is small steps consistently compound. A lot of times we feel like we have to get everything done in a day. We have to switch up our whole lives in a day. Understand that this is a journey. Learn how to enjoy the journey because it's who you're going to become in this healing process. And that's going to be the most beautiful thing ever. But take small steps consistently, and those steps compound to where you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, like so many things have changed. Do it just one day at a time, and just remember that the perfection thing is an illusion. It's an illusion.
It is an
And
illusion. It's a hard
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
and the whole I'm not ready is an illusion too, because being ready is never a feeling, but it's a decision. And when you make a decision, you cut off all other options and you do what you
Right.
know is required and necessary to live that life that you dream of living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we all want to feel good. We all want to feel good about our lives. We all want to feel healthy. I mean, yeah, we can't avoid challenges. We can't avoid adversity, but the way we show up to move through them, we can influence
Yes.
that. And that's what
Yes.
this is all about. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you take
Yeah.
care of yourself, I mean, it's so much, so much. You take care of yourself, it's just so many great benefits from taking care of yourself. And is you won't only benefit, but people will benefit from you taking care of yourself. You will be of such great service to so many people that you'll probably never even meet,
Mm, yeah.
just by taking care of yourself, just by doing what you know you need to do for you. Honestly, like it's amazing the ripple effect that comes from taking care of you.
I know. That is just, it is amazing. It is
Like I took
amazing.
care of me, and because I took care of me, here I am.
Right.
And it's a constant thing. You constantly have to show up for yourself. If you show up for you, you show up for everyone else.
That's right. You have to show up for you first. Otherwise, it's just, you're going to be heading on the fastest route to Burnout City. And that's what we don't want for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. An enlightening journey through the intersections of health, movement, and the profound connection of mind, body, and spirit with our inspiring guest, Rae Mason from the Healthy Move. And Rae has generously extended an exclusive offer to all our A Player Adventure podcast listeners. This is not just any offer, it's a transformative opportunity to reboot your life, aligning your health and wellness goals with the expert guidance of our very first podcast guest, making today's episode even more memorable. So, if you've been feeling stuck or looking for that spark to kickstart your health and wellness journey, this is your moment. Rae Mason's approach goes beyond the physical, embracing the holistic essence of A player well being. And she's here to guide you every step of the way. So, how can you embark on this adventure? Simply head over to aplayer.show/healthy move and use the special code APLAYER10 once you book your free consultation to unlock your exclusive discount. This offer is a token of gratitude to you, our dedicated listeners, for joining us on this journey of discovery and growth. So don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. It's time to make that healthy move to revitalize not just your body, but your mind and your spirit too. So I just want to thank you for tuning in to episode 9 of the A Player Adventure podcast. Remember, the adventure is not just out there, it's within you, waiting to be unleashed. This is Suzette West, signing off.